In the back of the book segment tonight, Mitt Romney continues to surge in the polls after last week's debate. A brand new Rasmussen survey among likely voters in Florida shows the governor leading President Obama 51 to 47. And in Virginia, Romney now leads 49 to 47. And with us now to analyze the new polling and to preview next week's presidential debate from Dallas, Republican pollster Chris Wilson, and from New York, Bernard Whitman, author of the book 52 Reasons to Vote for Obama. He's also a Democratic pollster. Okay, gentlemen, this is going to be interesting because now we had the full Biden on last night's debate, where he's in your face and he's making facial gestures and laughing and sighing. And on Tuesday at Hofstra, the president will step forward. And Chris, let's start with you. Given where the polls have shifted, obviously some momentum now for Romney, do you believe the vice presidential debate blunted that momentum, or is it a wash?
It's really a wash. There's not a situation where you can point back to where a vice presidential debate has changed anything. Whether you believe Ryan won, which a couple of polls taken afterwards, CNBC and CBS polls both show him winning. There's polls showing that people believe Biden won. I really believe it's a wash. But even if you were to say that Biden won, and my bet is Bernard believes that, even if you were to look at that, you take the most emphatic Democratic win really in history, which was Lloyd Bentsen over Dan Quayle in 1988. Well, George H.W. Bush still won 40 states. It just doesn't matter when it gets down to it.
All right, Bernard, let's move on to some of these movements in polls like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and in Virginia. Now, in some of these, the Real Clear Politics average still has Obama up slightly, but nevertheless, I think the bump that Mitt Romney received from this debate performance was a little bit bigger than most people, certainly myself, predicted. Go ahead.
I think that's absolutely true, but I think what the vice president debate did is blunt that. I think we've seen the end of the momentum for Mitt Romney coming out of the debate. All eyes will be focused on Tuesday. And at the end of the day, yes, is Mitt Romney ahead by 4 points in Florida, according to Rasmussen, and a couple points in Virginia? That's within the margin of error, and you know, Scott Rasmussen's a good friend of mine, but his polls tend to lean a little bit Republican. I think that ultimately what's going to decide this election in those states and nationally are suburban women. And I think as suburban women begin to understand the impact of things that Ryan said last night, making it quite clear that he wanted to outlaw abortion, then that's going to blunt that momentum, and women, suburban women, are going to come back to the U.S.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I understand this on national television. What you're saying is that the mom in Cleveland today with 3 kids struggling to make ends meet cares more, or should care more, about government ensuring that insurance cover contraceptives than she should care about the fact that she can't get a job that pays her bills. Are you kidding me?
No, that's not.
No poll supports what you're saying there.
That's not what I'm suggesting at all. What I'm suggesting is the Republicans have made it quite clear that their goal is to control women's lives, whether that means restricting access to health care and reproductive choices, abortion,
why
or not
are we
enforcing
calling them reproductive choices? They're actually choices not to be reproductive. That whole euphemistic approach to this is ridiculous.
Or not ensuring fair pay for women. Which Paul Ryan voted against.
Here's what we have. We have a situation where we have 4 years of a record to run on, and all the other side can do is demonize and deflect and distract away to the shiny object over here, so you don't focus on the fact that you lost 40% of your family's wealth, which I think is a lot more important to women than whether they can get a $9.99 birth control packet paid for by their insurance company. Chris, what does Barack Obama and Mitt Romney need to do this Tuesday at Hofstra? Because this is really Barack Obama's territory. He likes the town hall meetings, and I think he's going to feel a lot more comfortable and go on the attack.
He does, but I'll tell you, I think one of the reasons we saw a sort of reduced Barack Obama, if you will, in the last debate is because he has a tendency to come off as arrogant and smug and a little bit petty, almost as if he can't believe somebody would have the audacity to disagree with him when he gives his opinion. And that's what he's got to avoid. And I think he was really toned down in Denver because he was advised not to be that Barack Obama. Don't be overly arrogant toward Mitt Romney. And so now he's got to find that fine line, that balance, which I don't think Joe Biden Biden found last night. I think Saturday Night Live is going to lead off with a great skit that Joe Biden gave him tons of material for. Yeah, well, you're probably right, Laura. But he's got to be able to do that. He's got to be able to take the fight like Joe Biden did. I'll give him that. He took the fight to Paul Ryan, and that's what Obama's got to do to Romney. Now, conversely, you know what Romney has to do is exactly what he did in Denver. He has to be the person he is. And let's be honest here, is that the Mitt Romney we saw in the primaries, the one who defined himself as severely Mitt Romney, that wasn't the real Mitt Romney. That was somebody who was running to win a Republican primary. And the reason we see a compelling and very and a Mitt Romney that has changed the momentum of this race, and those polls you mentioned, the Real Clear Politics average for the first time this fall on Wednesday showed Romney move into a lead. And in each one of those states you mentioned one poll in Virginia. There's 3 in the last 2 days that have Romney up. There's 4 in Florida that have him up. It has. It's changed around, and that's what Romney has to do is just do it again.
We appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you so much. And